So hello, everyone. My name is Alfonso Hernandez Jr. I am the VP of Sales at HiFlow Solutions. We're going to be talking about how to harness the power of AI today for your business. A lot of people, a lot of different companies are talking about AI. I want to go through a couple of different discussion points today. Besides in the introduction, we want to look at our current industry landscape, understanding AI and automation, manufacturing business cases around AI, understanding the key technologies. And then I'm going to go into some examples of the functions that you can get today to apply to your within your company that you can see some benefits, and then some last minute business considerations. So as I stated, I am the VP of Sales of HiFlow Solutions. I've been in the industry over 32 years. I come from humble beginnings as a scanner operator and prepress operator, and I've worked in a wide variety of companies within our industries, from getting ink under my nails all the way through to sales of hardware and software solutions within our industry. A brief discussion of who is HiFlow Solutions. I'm glad to announce that we are celebrating our 25th anniversary in business. We are a family-owned independent software vendor of ERP, MIS, MES solutions for the printing and packaging industry. We are US-based and with worldwide operations, with offices in Mexico City, Mexico, and Warsaw, Poland. All of our technology is based on Microsoft technology, and our ERP from the ground up and from our beginning was designed for the complexities of the printing and packaging production processes. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in our in the packaging industry today. And this has been a trend that's been growing for a while, is the rapid job changeover and expectations from customers. A lot of brands are looking at more customization of their products and differentiations of their products, and they're expecting from you a higher level of service expectations with real-time data, proactive communication. But at the same time, our industry is experiencing some workforce shortages from attrition and rising labor costs. Veteran retirement is really an issue, and that knowledge loss and transfer is really something that needs to be addressed within our industry. And the reliance on legacy systems that have limited automation and newer tools to help you with your systems. Michael, do you have a question?
Michael, if you could use the chat, since we are in a webinar, we unfortunately can't come off mute. The attendees cannot. So
Yeah,
feel free to
we'll answer questions at the end that are in chat. I'll be glad to answer a few questions at the end of my portion before I hand it off to Peter.
Perfect.
But within our industry, we have some efficiency gaps. There's still many companies producing print and packaging that are doing a lot of manual entry, not just in the front office with customer service, but also on the shop floor. Different departments are working within silos, so there's not full transparency and communication within different departments within a company. Work center downtime is sometimes an issue, and how you address it. Frequent reworks due to miscommunication, maintenance problems, equipment problems, substrate problems, a wide variety of things. And the inability within our industry of being able to properly forecast production loads and customer changes accurately. Typically there are five ways most in manufacturing companies can improve their productivities. Including improving the employee productivity, boosting operational efficiencies, integrating your supply chain and understanding what your supply chain looks like and managing it better, and reducing production costs overall. Back in 1983, this little guy, Steve Jobs, saw AI as the first revolution since in the industrial age. He was emphasizing the potential to fundamentally change how humans and technology interact together. We've been actually thinking of AI for a very long time, since the 20th century and moving on into the 21st century. So humans have been thinking about it a lot. Have you been thinking about how you're going to use AI within your company? Amazon Web Services commissioned a report, and they found that 93% of employers expect to use generative AI in the next 5 years, and that was only less than a year and a half ago. Um, at the same time, employers believe that AI will boost overall productivity by as much as 49%. That is huge for some companies. But what do people think AI is? The lion's share is text understanding and a generation, like working with ChatGPT, image recognition and generation, voice recognition, and some robot work. But did you know that even individuals outside of their job have been using AI in the background with a lot of their apps and devices for a long time, even with people using applications, uh, six or more applications that use AI today. So it's already here, it's already being used. And Pew Research did this survey in 2022. So it's only grown exponentially from here. What is AI? AI refers to the overall ability of machines and software to perform tasks typically done by humans, effort, or their intelligence. The capabilities like learning from machines and software, interpreting language, recognizing patterns, and making recommendations are just some of the key areas that AI can provide benefits to individuals. But specifically in manufacturing, AI improves decision making, limiting and automating repetitive tasks, and identify efficiencies hidden with all this data they've been collecting within their systems. AI is in manufacturing, has been in manufacturing, and 72% of those who have deployed it have already seen reduced costs and improved operational efficiencies, better visibility and responsiveness due to AI, and improve process optimization and control overall within their environment. These are just some of the use cases that AI could be utilized within your business to improve and enhance the overall efficiency and productivity of your business, but also to help your employees perform their jobs better. As we were saying, here's just some of the areas where AI can be applied that can be beneficial to any manufacturing company, especially within our businesses. And we've talked about already efficiencies to help streamline, production processes, and improve overall operational efficiency. Um, AI can be utilized also for safety reasons, ensuring that machines are maintained in a proper way and a proper cadence to avoid problems, and also looking at how you're doing your processes and workflow to improve overall safety within your environment. AI can be pivotal, and Peter will be talking about this more regarding product development and design, and how automation with that can really spur and improve that process when you're collaborating with customers. AI can also define areas of training that is needed by proper reporting and analyzing of data. You can do things like, for example, notice that you're having more waste on certain shifts or certain operators so that you can address those issues with those employees and get them the proper training to do their jobs better. And a big other area is AI integrating your supply chain management. That way, we don't have the next disruption like COVID, that can or tariffs that can really affect your overall business. Big thing I want to address to you here is that AI is really not a threat. It is an important tool that can really enhance your business and your employees. And this is what employees are actually saying from recent surveys, that their overall workload is actually reducing, which is making employees be more productive with more important tasks. Okay, on things that matter to both your customers and your company, and it helps and allows people to do more strategic and intelligent thinking, to think and find outside of the box ideas to help you, the business and your customers. And it also overall helps with team communication and work balance for employees. For it's not an issue of today of AI taking away jobs, although there are some industries that are having that, but really it's for having people use AI to do their jobs better. I'm going to go into now a few areas of key technologies that are being utilized today in manufacturing and in our industry, that you should just be aware of. I have been starting to see over the last 2 to 3 years that some companies are now starting to put in industrial automation with their production lines, and also using robotics, especially with palletization and packing, that really can help with reducing labor costs, ensuring worker safety, and having consistency and precision of what the work that needs to be done. Machine learning is a very big thing, and I know that several press manufacturers and other solutions are utilizing machine learning to understand trends and create predictive maintenance and production forecasting for your production environment. Computer vision can, a lot of different people are using this today. You might be using this today with checking barcodes and print quality and systems like that, so that you can improve the overall quality you're providing and ensuring compliance for your customers of the products you're producing. Natural language processing really can help people with taking away some of the tasks of typing and doing repetitive functions. This could be a very exciting environment in the future for handling documents and customer interactions. Analytics, this is a great area. We have excellent tools out there today, Power BI, ClickView, that can give you a lot of analysis of data. But where AI is going to be helping us in the future is by looking at that data and providing management with suggestions or areas to look at for to help with productivity, efficiencies, and downtimes, and make this better decision making insights for management to run the business better. Generative AI. Right now, I'm only for showing this in the design space of being able to create new solutions for your clients and for marketing. But this is an interesting area of where generative AI will be able to help with those um, version changes or customizations that I talked about earlier that consumer brands are actually doing and looking to do more so that they can have better shelf recognition and more personalization for customers. And the last one is not necessarily for our use, but what manufacturers are using digital twins is for organizing new production lines and production processes to help reduce downtimes and give optimization within your production floor. Running your business, you're typically having an ERP MIS solution that is helping run your business. And in modern ERP systems today, you want a centralized system that provides CRT production, logistics, and managers with real-time data to make good decisions for the overall functionality of your company. Having AI be able to detect, recommend actions, and streamline can only enhance your company overall. Um, and it can also automate, time-consuming repetitive tasks. I've mentioned that before, but also give you that smart forecasting and real-time data visualization throughout your whole company. Customer service is one of the great areas where AI can really help in advancing how you're communicating with your customers and providing them information. This can be done with AI chatbots, natural language interpretation that can be processed and then provided within your company so that you can take action on these items. AI generate follow-ups with emails and task reminders, but also with automation of quote generation for with pricing intelligence, so that you can have quicker turnaround, not just at the e-commerce level, but on your normal customer requests for estimates. And it skipped over, but also for providing customers with uh, delivery tracking and real-time job status information. you know, Estimates and quotes are, the necessary evil within this. I love this quote, but if it's done poorly and efficiently, it can really drain resources and affect your profitability. Today there is AI powered estimating processing, which allows for inquiries to come in, be translated in the system by an AI system, extract the data that's needed and connect it to the customer, and be able to make decisions of, hey, do we need to send back an email for more information? Or is the data complete that you can create an automatically create an estimate and a quote for an estimator to review to make sure that all the steps are and all the items are being estimated properly before being sent out. This can allow for a lot more estimates to be done by an estimator um, without having to add headcount. Another real world example is with purchase order processing. Purchase orders come in either in PDF or an email, And that data can be also text recognized and extracted. With the same scenario of if we need more information, we send it out to the customer in an automatic fashion, or that the order gets inputted in and processed for someone to be able to review. And the system will also inform customers, I mean, CSRs, if things are not what they should be. For example, pricing is not correct. Expected delivery dates are not realistic. If a new product is included on the purchase order that you haven't worked on before, it can flag that. So it's not just the recognition of the text, but also the analysis of that data before the order actually goes into production. And AI enhancements and powered scheduling so that you can get real-time data information back from production so your schedule is more real time. The ability to do scenario tools so you can change around work and deal with, let's say, for example, that a machine goes down and how will that affect your entire production schedule. A scheduler can use some AI powered automations based on your environment and your equipment uh, to reschedule everything. And also input into your scheduling preventive maintenance for your equipment and different vacation days and everything, so that your schedule and your real time your expected delivery dates can be met more efficiently. Really, this is really important, is that, yeah, we're talking about different departments and where AI can enhance this, but also having a solution, an ERP system, which is integrated and connected with all your different departments. So you don't have redundant communications, redundant information being added. And, you can really get more accurate capacity planning and live job costing from all this information. Um, and there's better cross functional alignment between departments. I forgot the site is probably behind this, but the source of where this data is. But this was I'm sorry, this was a recent survey done by I forgot the company, but these are some of the benefits that companies saw with integrating AI into their workforce and their operation. There are things that you should consider when you're thinking of how you're applying AI. Today, a lot of people could be using them, either using Grammarly or ChatGPT or a Copilot to be able to write emails better and communicate with customers better. But you want to have entire system that's been tailored directly for the tag and label industry or other parts of the packaging industry, since a lot of different companies now are branching out into other disciplines within the packaging industry. That the AI modules work for your packaging workflow, and there is seamless deployment of these new AI assets, so that you have minimal disruption and improved um, efficiencies and productivities throughout, and that you have the right partner for expert support and industry knowledge of how to apply these AI modules. I can take any questions right now before I pass this over to Peter. It was a pleasure introducing this information to you.
Awesome. Alfonso, we did get a couple questions in if you want to address those before we
Sure,
move
I'd love to.
on to Peter. Um, one question from Bill was, you stated that AI deals with repetitive tasks. I thought that was RPA. What is the difference from RPA to AI?
Oh, good question. Well, like for example, the real world examples I gave you of people not having to type in purchase order information, for example, is a repetitive task. That and also think of it as not just the initial PO, but I'm sure none of you have experienced the problem of customers sending you updated POs for multiple different reasons, either for quantity changes or different line items or anything like that. An AI powered purchase order processing can make those changes so that you're taking out those tasks, those repetitive tasks of typing in changes, and takes away a lot from the CSR having to do that work, and ensures that um, no items are typed in incorrectly.
Awesome. One more. Can AI pick out specs out of an email and turn a quote?
Yes, in that real world scenario, it can. Either by so for example, in the scenario I gave you, you can forward the CSR can forward that email directly to an email queue for the AI to be able to pull that information out. Actually, let me just go back to that slide. Okay. So or have the customer send it directly into there, and then it can extract that data. If not all the specifications that your company have set up that you need to be able to make an estimate are in there, it can do an auto-generated email back to the customer. But if you have all of it, then it can create an auto estimate based on, known types of work or different quantities or whatever like that. And then we'll sit in a queue for final approval before a quote is created and sent out back to the customer.
Awesome. Thanks.
Any others? All right, I'm going to be handing this over to Peter now. Peter, take it away.
Thank you, Alfonso. Okay. Okie doke. So we're going to talk a little bit about workflow automation for efficient packaging production, especially for the label and tag industry. Quick introduction. My name is Peter Kincaid. I'm the VP of Sales for North America for Hybrid Software. Been in the industry for roughly 30 years. Very passionate about automation and integration to really help streamline the process that most of our customers go through every day. I've been with Hybrid Software for 10 years. Before that, I was with 2 other software companies. And prior to that, like Alfonso, I got my hands dirty in the pre-press and printing industry, starting out as a table stripper back in the way, working my way up into sales for better for worse. And that's where I am now. So for those who don't know about Hybrid Software, we are a Belgium-based software company. This is a picture of part of our crew at Drupa last year. And we focus purely on making innovative software for the packaging industry. We started out as an integration company way back in 2007, and a few years after that, we entered the pre-press game, developing PDF editors and workflow solutions to really maximize efficiency inside of those departments. We have branched outside of those departments as well, but I'm going to focus on really pre-press automation today and adding efficiency in that process. As you can see on the map, we have many locations around the globe, but we are headquartered out of Belgium. And then we have our largest region is actually the North American region with members of the team all around the country and up in Canada as well. Hybrid is made up of 6 different companies. So we've got Zytron, we've got IC3D, which is our 3D company, Global Graphics, which makes the Harlequin RIP, Meteor Inkjet, which makes many of the control cards for the digital presses. And we've got Color Logic, which is our color company. And then, of course, Hybrid Software as the software company and our main company. We like to say we are the IT experts who know pre-press and the pre-press experts who know IT. We have 260 plus employees, all from the industry, with very good knowledge of what you folks do on a daily basis and also what it takes to get it done under the hood. So what we're going to talk about today is, challenges, strategies, real world benefits, why automation is essential in today's packaging landscape, and I would say even tomorrow's packaging landscape as things are going to continue to change, and the current and future state of artificial intelligence in pre-press. So talking about the industry landscape, we all see this. We've got increasing SKUs, shorter run lengths, speed to market pressure, labor shortages, and rising cost, and obviously complexity in artwork and compliance. And we're even going to see more of this with a lot of the changes that are coming with the new Sunrise project, I believe it is, as far as, QR codes and, more information and transparency in our packaging environment. So when we talk about automation in label and packaging, we're really talking about the use of software to replace manual tasks. This has become very important, especially, I would say, since COVID, where securing employment, retaining employment has become just more and more difficult. Some of the examples that I'll talk about will be, how we can do things like online proofing, file checking or pre-flighting, as well as automating the production process of creating a job or finishing a job. We'll also talk about integration with MIS and ERP systems, along with pre-press and press systems, really driving data through the process to create those efficiencies. So where does it deliver value? Obviously in pre-press, we've got, these topics right here: pre-flighting, trapping, step and repeat, and color matching. From an approval, the ability to streamline the approval process with online proofing and version control. Production, we take advantage of JDF and JMF driven workflows to really help create automation and, consistency. And then for QC, automating inspection systems exist out there, how we can integrate with those, and even doing things like barcode validation and spell checking in an automated fashion. And then, of course, visibility, real-time dashboards, analytics, where things are, scheduling, all of that can happen when we talk about automation and integration. So a typical production workflow, this is something we threw together for our users group, but I think it's generic enough to kind of cover most everybody's, production process. We start out with data delivery, we move into artwork editing and production, and of course we've got the commercial side of that, which would be the order management, working with the MIS system, the ERP, generating the estimates and the orders. I'm going to stay more on the top line here. And the first thing we're going to talk about is, how are we getting artwork and what's happening once we get the artwork? So modern companies, they face challenges, and we're here to present them solutions. They're getting files delivered to them via email, via FTP sites, via Dropbox, WeTransfer, any kind of method imaginable, and it's very fragmented and disorganized. And also a lot of times they get files that just aren't ready to use for printing production. So to help with this, streamline the intake channels, automate pre-flighting and quality checks, organization of the delivered files, and then also integrating with the MIS systems to say, hey, these files have arrived, let's either create an estimate or create a job from this. And we can do this in a few different ways. Many systems out there now have the ability to, serve as an upload portal. This is one of our systems that we're looking at right now, where a customer can just come in, fill out whatever information you want them to fill out, upload their files. This triggers, emails to be delivered with the data, and this can also go into the MIS system. And then we can also automatically pre-flight these files and kind of give a go, no-go kind of scenario as to if the delivered artwork, meets the criteria of ready to print, or at least is something that is good enough that our pre-press experts can go in there and fix manually if need be. So delivering this information as fast as we can helps us create faster turnarounds on getting the project done. Moving on, our next area that I wanted to talk about would be our soft proofing. Really, the right tool for the job is very important. We have many, many customers and prospects out there that are still emailing PDFs to their customers. And the problem is you don't know what software your customer is looking at that PDF with. Is it going to show the overprints accurately? Is it going to show transparencies accurately? Heck, is the color even going to be remotely close? So you really need to have the right tool for the job. And you need to have a system that eliminates things like we like to call it email tennis, the kind of back and forth little bits of information or phone calls that aren't being answered because everybody's too busy. And also the problem of version control. So using a single controlled viewing environment really eliminates any of the viewing issues that are out there. It streamlines the communication channel, and it's also simple to use. Your end users don't need to have any specialized software. You're the ones providing the software, and they're just clicking on links. And just to give you an example of what that looks like, so an email came out, they click on a link, they get brought into a web browser viewer where what they see is what they get, kind of scenario transparencies and overprints are going to be proper. They have the ability to use different tools to inspect the artwork, whether it's measuring densities, whether it's doing version comparisons. What you can see here on the left is version A versus version B on the right, and then there's a difference in the middle. So supplying your customers a tool like this really gives them the best tool set to do their job and to ensure that what gets printed is going to be what they approved in the long run. So moving on to the output portion of the production workflow, we talk about the output or the back end of a shop as being many disconnected islands. It could be that you've got mixed press environments, you've got finishing machines, embellishment machines, rewind machines. The problem is that many of these machines don't talk to each other. And it's also an issue of how do we know what machine needs the files that we're working on? So through integration with an MIS system who generally knows that information, we can tie all of that data together to make our workflows that much more intelligent so that we don't need to have manual stop points or manual copying of files to specific devices. We can go ahead and automate that whole functionality just based on data. We can even take it as far as to set up the jobs on the front ends of the press or the DFEs, so that your press operators really only need to focus on printing rather than is this the right artwork and do I have all the proper specs? We can do that automatically. We can also return data to your MIS system so that we can have complete transparency throughout the whole operation as to where the projects are, what stages they're in, and what their current state is. This is actually a Label Expo workflow that we were running live with HP as our partner, where we were creating variable data cups on the fly. And this is all done with just a single one-up artwork file and a data source and a very elaborate workflow being driven by data, where what you'll see is, it's doing the variable data printing, it's doing the cup warping, it's adjusting the QR code, and then it's going to do the step and repeat. And at the end, it came off the back end of the HP digital press, completely automated. So what we really talk about with that process is the savings that happen when we add automation to a shop. Removing remedial tasks, and really just streamlining the process and eliminating the complexity that can lead to errors. So some of the key takeaways, obviously reducing touch points. The more operators touch files in our business, the more opportunity there is for errors. Standardization enables scalability. Consistency across locations, teams, and/or jobs. Faster job turnaround. Respond more quickly to customer demands and tight deadlines. Future-proofs your operation. That's not just for continued growth, but that's also for, if companies are looking to sell, obviously the ones that have more automation are going to be more appealing to the buyer. Preparing your business for digital transformation for evolving customer expectations. Already talked about the MIS integration. Employee satisfaction is one that we actually heard from the field. And one of the biggest complaints we heard from a lot of our operators was they're getting asked to do too many remedial things. For instance, creating a die line for a customer. When they know there's technology out there that can do that automatically, they just want to focus on what their true skills are. Enhancing the customer experience, giving them a much easier way to, for instance, view their files, or approve their files, to see the status of where their job is in production. And then automation investments typically pay for themselves throughout efficiency gains, faster turnaround, and reduced labor and rework cost. We see customers within 1 year seeing a 50% efficiency gain in production. And what we do is we are then pushing the bottleneck further downstream, so that then it becomes a matter of just maybe adding more machinery to get more work out faster. So when we talk about artificial intelligence and pre-press, I will say that our industry has been relatively slow to jump on this. We have different software companies out there claiming they're using AI. Very few actually are at this point, my company included. We use it in a very limited fashion on our 3D line of software at this point. AI requires large data models. This is a struggle for our industry. Our industry has many different suppliers in it, every one of them having their own model of data, and many of these models are not very clean or organized. So it's difficult for the data to be harvested to really get an AI engine to have the knowledge that it needs. There's also the uniqueness of your businesses. While everybody on here is probably in the tag and label industry, we all do things a little bit different, whether it's substrates, equipment, finishing, or even processes. So it's been a struggle from the software side to figure out, where do we start with AI? What is the low-hanging fruit? But some of the opportunities that we do see with AI, pre-flight and correction is one of the highest priorities that we see out there. Give you a little background on that. There's many different online tools now that can create artwork, and we're seeing that creep into our industry. The problem is the artwork that they're creating looks great on screen, but is pretty much garbage when it comes to print ready. So how can we handle that more in an automated AI fashion? We're looking into that right now. Trapping's been around forever. It's going to be around until the last presses that are running plates exist. How can we use AI to create better trapping? Essentially, we have automatic trapping right now, but using AI to look at the results of the trapping to see if, based on what press it's printing or what substrate it's printing on, how can it make the trapping better and more accurate? Color pre-flight and consistency. That's one that is very important as well. Customer expects that it's going to print this color. Well, that color looks great on a Pantone swatch book, but maybe if we're printing on a poor substrate, it's going to be a difficult one to match. AI can help us with that. Layout optimization already exists in a small format out there with artificial intelligence. That's something that we're looking into as well. It's might be more of machine learning than AI, quite honestly, but it's definitely something we're looking at. Quality checking, compliance checking. Compliance is anything from nutritional facts to also regional compliance. And this is a project that we have going on with a very large brand owner right now, where, for instance, in some of the Muslim countries, they've got very strict rules on, give you an example, diaper containers, which normally have a young kid, 1-year-old kid on there, usually just in diapers and no shirt on. We need to understand that, okay, this package is going to a Muslim country and that's illegal there. So photo recognition to figure out, does that image meet the standards of that region or not? 3D enhancements is another one that we've actually already started working on in our software. And, for instance, we can make a 3D model, complete a render of it so it looks photorealistic, but now we want to see it with different backgrounds. We want to see it from different angles. That's something that AI can help us with. Artwork creation is one that many companies are working on right now. It's going to have its limitations, at least for the next few years, until AI gets better at not making mistakes. And then for inside of our actual products, things like script creation and workflow creation. One thing that we're noticing is that we don't have the workflow experts in the industry anymore that we did 10 years ago. A lot of these people have retired. We don't have people that are picking up the baton and running with it. So how can we make creating automations easier? Well, we believe that AI can help us if it knows our system well enough, based on a few prompts from a user saying, hey, I would like to do this and then do that and then do that. Have it create a workflow in the software that can then be used automatically. So that's it for me. I'm more than happy to take any questions that we have. It looks like we have 10 minutes left.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Peter. Yes, if you all have any questions, please feel free to drop those into the chat, or you can use the Q&A feature as well. We can give it a second to see if anyone has any last questions. Alfonso, anything additional from your end?
No, just I'm going to go say something further that Peter brought up, is the fact that, yeah, a lot of different, even ERP MIS solutions are talking about AI and everything. Just make sure that they are actually doing AI and not saying that they're taking their software automation and calling it AI, or that they're just talking about what's coming in the future. There are solutions today that are doing this.
And AI does not mean Adobe Illustrator.
Awesome. Well, if there are no questions, we will go ahead and wrap up for today. So thank you so much to our speakers for being here with us and sharing this information. As a reminder to our attendees, this session was recorded, and you'll receive an email with the recording, and it'll also live in TLMI community. And at the end of the session, you'll have the opportunity to complete a brief post-event survey for a chance to win a $10 Starbucks gift card. Thank you again for being here, and have a great rest of your week. Thanks.
Thank you, McKinney.